If you're planning to drive in Iceland during your visit, there's a good chance that you're going to encounter a two-lane roundabout. And regardless if you've experienced two-lane roundabouts in other countries, there is a special rule here that more than likely is different than where you have experienced this or where you're from. And so I'm going to share what that rule is here in Iceland and how you can best be safe in a two-lane roundabout. For those who are unfamiliar with roundabouts, specifically two-lane roundabouts, I'll go over a little bit in terms of those rules just quickly, and I'll have some visuals to explain how all of this comes together and how to handle being in a situation driving in the country so that you don't cause any accidents and you don't have as much anxiety going into a two-lane roundabout as some people often do. First off, the biggest rule when it comes to a two-lane roundabout in Iceland is that the inner lane has the right of way. And like I said, I have some visuals that I will share that, but this is the biggest difference. In some other European countries, the outer lane has the right of way, which can be very confusing when you think about now it's the inner lane. You got to switch your mindset. Also, never ever change lanes in a roundabout. If you're in the inner lane, you stay in the inner lane until you're going to exit, and the outer lane, same thing. You stay within those lanes. It's super important. And of course, use your turn signals appropriately while you're in the roundabout in order to let people know if you're planning to exit or to stay in it. Starting off with the two cars below that are about to enter into the roundabout, you can see the orange car is in the inner lane or the left lane, and the pink car is in the outer lane or the right lane. So remember, the inner lane has the right of way. This is always going to be really important. Choosing which lane you're going to be in is actually crucial because of how you can exit, because each inner lane or outer lane has access to more or less of the exits in this two-lane roundabout. For instance, for the outer lane, the typical exits that the outer lane, so this pink car is going to take, is the first exit, which is to the right here, or the second exit, which is basically straight ahead. So as you can see with the inner lane, this orange car, the options for exiting for that car would be straight ahead, which makes the most sense, to the third exit, or of course, all the way around if for whatever reason they needed to turn all the way around. It's very strategic to be in place where you need to exit and know where you need to exit, which Google Maps, any of those type of map apps will let you know, if you need to go to second, third, first, whatever exit, so you can plan accordingly. And again, never switching lanes, always staying in the inner lane before you exit or the outer lane before you exit. Whichever one you started with, you have to stay in that lane. I have witnessed people who are tourists who are in the outer lane and they somehow just drift into the inner lane. This is extremely dangerous. Please don't do that. It will cause accidents and a lot of confusion. Now let's go to a scenario in which these two potential cars, still the orangey car below is in the inner lane, but now this pink car is in the outer lane, just entering the roundabout from a different location. And I'm going to show you how this inner lane has the right of way and what's the appropriate action that you can take. Just as a reminder, that pink car can do the first exit, or it can go to what is its second exit. For this example, it's going to be going all the way over here. That's what its intention is to go to its second exit. In this example, the orange car decided to go to what would be the second exit for it when it started down here below. And like I said, the pink car wants to go all the way to its second exit. They happen to come at the same place, and because the orange car is in the inner lane, that means that this pink car has to yield to the orange car and let it go to exit. So it has its blinker on, its right blinker, letting people know that it is exiting the roundabout, and anybody who would potentially in the outer lane be coming in that direction has to literally yield to it. And yes, that means stopping in the roundabout in order to let this orange car go. So once the orange car has left and the exit and there's no other car that is in the inner lane that needs to exit as well, then this pink car can continue on to the second exit that it wanted to go to in the first place. For some people, this might seem a little daunting, but it actually is fairly simple. It's just something that you have to remind yourself of and know that it is okay when you're in the outer lane to stop and yield to the inner lane that is leaving. I've also encountered cars that were in the outer lane that kept going, and I knew immediately that either they were probably from somewhere else because I was trying to exit in the inner lane, and I had my blinker on and everything, but that car just went, and either they were just being rude or they were thinking that the rule is the outer lane has the right of way, and that could have caused a serious accident. So even being experienced being in 2-lane roundabouts, if your rule is different than in Iceland, can still be potentially dangerous. So just keep this in mind. And if you are planning to rent a car, which I highly recommend that you do, it is fun. There are not many of these 2-lane roundabouts, but they are here, and especially in the Reykjavik capital area. So if you're coming to Reykjavik and then planning to, drive out of the city, then there's a good chance you're going to encounter these 2-lane roundabouts, but they don't have to be scary. And of course, around here, we always like to make sure that you can get the best for your budget. And I've been working with Go Car Rental Iceland, which is an amazing car rental company here that is local. They have great customer service and a large variety of cars. And if you use my code Iceland10, then you can save 10% when you rent with them. Or if you're planning to use a camper van, their sister company, Go Campers, you can use my code Iceland7 to save 7% and get 2 free duvets with your rental, whatever the camper van is that you're using. So along with this rule and of course these discounts, you'll be all set when it comes to at least understanding a very important rule here in Iceland. I have some other driving related videos that I'm gonna share with you. And I also have a discount bundle that you can download, and that is below in the description, where you can save on outerwear. Of course, this codes that I talked about for saving for your car rental or camper van, for activities in Iceland, and so much more. So feel free to use that as you're planning your trip, but keep this in mind because it is super important and it can save you anxiety as well as potentially getting into an accident. If you found this video to be helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions or other things about Iceland that you'd like to be explained in the event that you've had questions about them, because I always like making videos about that. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.